So we are not headed to Woodlawn. We are going to a student's house. She and her family live about 25 minutes away from Woodlawn. And that's not unique. You know, what we've learned is that more than 50% of the students at that school, they don't live in the neighborhood. So their parents, have to drive them in every day.
Yeah, so what it would look like to anyone just sort of joining me at the front door in the morning is that we have one neighborhood bus that has about 25 students on it. Many other students get dropped off in cars. They're coming from outside of our neighborhood. They're not in walking or biking distance. They're not in the distance of the neighborhood school bus. And so parents are driving them in.
These families live in Gresham. They live in an area called the Numbers. They just do not live near Woodlawn.
They're part of our community, and if they are willing to drive from wherever they live to get here because they want to be here, they want their child to be here, we allow that to happen.
Right. You're not like, I need a utility bill, I need this.
So we do have to do that, and in every case, families produce documentation to show that they can attend here.
As we get to know these families and get to know this school, this issue just kept coming up. It's another example of gentrification in the kids going to the school don't live in the neighborhood. We're going to Olivia's house. She is in 5th grade. We're going to meet with Olivia and her mom, be there as they finish up getting ready, and then we're going to drive with them to school. Hi, how are you?
You can bring me the keys from the car though. I've actually calculated, and I think it's 22 minutes, but that also depends on traffic, so around 30 on average.
Mom Alicia will have made this drive to and from Woodlawn more than 2,000 times by the time daughter Olivia graduates from the 5th grade.
There's lots of people that I know that make this commute, and at one point people didn't have to make the commute.
Alicia grew up just 3 blocks from Woodlawn.
And that house right there is the house that I grew up in.
But with the median price of homes listed in the Woodlawn neighborhood at $499,000, she and about half the families at Woodlawn can't afford to live near the school, so they drive their kids there.
It's what I know. It's where I was born, where I grew up. I know the streets and the parks, and I did know the churches, but many of those are gone. I did know corner stores, which are gone. It's just really different. And so, although I'd love to still live where I know, it might be weird because it's not what I know anymore.
Herman Bryant is Alicia's dad and Olivia's grandfather.
Yeah.
We met him on Grandparents' Day.
It has come and gone, right? And it's like, I just feel displaced everywhere I go in Portland. I started here in the 5th grade. Yeah, I went to the 8th grade when I came.
Herman's mother still lives in the neighborhood, but has felt the pressure to sell.
Just the kind of the shoving that they do, that individuals do, or knocking on the door and asking you to sell your house. Those kind of discomforts is really like very traumatizing to my mother.
You get pestered all the time. Do you want to sell your house? Notes, letters, people calling, knocking. I mean, you wouldn't see that in any other community.
Okay, friends, I need you to stay with me.
1st grade teacher Anthony Lowry grew up near Woodlawn too.
I mean, my whole family pretty much lived in a 3-mile radius. And after my grandparents passed away, just going through the trouble of selling the house, dealing with the real estate agents, undercutting you 30, 40, 50,000, and the house is worth more. And I mean, I literally had to get in verbal conflicts with real estate agents trying to undercut us because they think that, we're uneducated.
Mr. Lowry used to drive his own kids to school in Northeast Portland from Vancouver because he couldn't afford to buy over there either.
You're really not living, you're existing because Nobody wants to be out there. Nobody wanted to move to those places. Nobody say, oh, I want to move out to the Numbers, or I want to move to Vancouver. No, it's just what happens.
In all of these interviews, there's just an overwhelming sense that the Black community in Northeast Portland lost its community as people were priced out of the neighborhood.
It's like walking through a graveyard. It's like seeing tombstones. It's like things that used to be there. Houses people used to know, community-centered places, restaurants that you used to grow up, you grew up with. Nothing is there anymore, not one thing hardly.
I really feel the biggest issue is the alienation sometimes that I feel in reverse, as far as people almost looking at me as if I'm a stranger in my own community, and I've been here for 40 plus years. So I don't understand how all of a sudden I'm the one that's the outsider.
It's just different, right? It's just different, and that difference makes me feel powerless.
I think gentrification absolutely impacts everything that we do, all of our decisions, what we're seeing. It impacts our community events, it impacts our conversations. We are looking to keep a community feel in a school that families want their students to go to, even though they are not part of what's outside of our school community. We are holding tight to Woodlawn School community in the work that we're doing.
That's where my mom grew up, and now they can't live there anymore.
And coming back to Woodlawn helps keep some connection.
But I just have to keep moving forward and doing everything I can so that one day someone won't be able to tell me that I have to move out of my neighborhood. So that one day maybe I will be able to come back and purchase in this neighborhood. And although it might be weird for me to give people the history of why I'm back in this neighborhood and why you're not going to be able to kick me out this time, and while you like it or not, here I am and I'm going to be present. But in the meantime, I have to work hard, and I have to teach my kids hard, and I have to do everything that I can do in order to make that kind of dream come true.